Hello students, now we shall look at the second problem in this module 2 of energy and environment. It is proposed to supply a load with a maximum demand of 500 megawatt and load factor of 70%. Choice is to be made from a nuclear power plant and a hydraulic power plant. Calculate the overall cost per kilowatt hour in case of each scheme as given below. So there are two types of power plants. One is hydro power plant and second is nuclear power plant. Okay, the table is given here. So we have to make a choice from where you have to buy the power, because we will buy the power where the cost is the least. Correct? Now you see the table. There are three columns. One is cost, second is hydroelectric power plant, and third is nuclear power plant. The capital cost per megawatt installed is hydroelectric is 4 rupees, 4 crore per megawatt, and nuclear is 5 crore per megawatt. Interest is 5% for both. Depreciation is 4% for hydroelectric power plant and 5% for nuclear power plant. Operating cost for hydroelectric power plant is only 5 paisa per unit, whereas it is 13 paisa per unit in nuclear power plant. And transmission and distribution cost per kilowatt is 3 paisa per kilowatt for hydroelectric power plant and 2 paisa per kilowatt for nuclear power plant. Now we'll understand the terminologies first. There is solving is the second issue, but you have to understand the problem. What is given here? So now the given point is we have to set up a plant of 500 megawatt. So you have two options: either you set up a hydroelectric power plant or you set up a nuclear power plant. But what we want that the overall cost of unit per unit of electricity generated should be the least, right? Okay. And now to set up the power plant of 500 megawatt, the capital cost, initial cost, what you for constructing of dam and all in hydroelectric power plant is 4 crore rupees per megawatt. Okay, so for 500 means 500 into 4, 2000 crore rupees is required to set up one hydroelectric power plant. Very huge dam has to be built. Whereas nuclear power plant, if you want to build, so it will cost more. It will cost 5 crore rupees per megawatt. That is 5 into 500. That is 2,500 crores. It will cost, because this technology, lot of technology goes into the nuclear power plant. Nuclear reactor, lot of safety issues. Okay, that is turbine, steam turbine. This Rankine cycle plant, it is costlier than the hydro power plant, and that is the initial cost. Okay. Next is interest. So this 2,000 crores or 2,500 crores we are not having. So we have to borrow that money from banks or some lending institutions, some other governments. So that cost is 5%. So whatever you borrow, 5% of that amount you have to pay every year towards the interest. Okay. Then their third term is depreciation. What is depreciation? See, please understand, whatever this hydro power plant or nuclear power plant we use, or even your motorcycle or bike, car you are using, it has got a fixed life, say 15 years, 20 years and all. After that you have to replace that, right? So from where you will get the money after 15, 20 years? All at a time you will not get the money. So every year you will keep some amount separately from the savings, so that after the useful life of the equipment, say 15, 20 years, you have got the enough money to buy a new plant. Okay, that amount is known as depreciation amount. In our house we don't do this depreciation, but industries where they buy the equipment, machinery and all, they have a depreciation fund, so that after the useful life of the equipment, they have enough corpus, enough funds, so that they can buy a new plant. This is about depreciation. Next is operating cost, including fuel. See, what is operating cost means? Now to generate this power from nuclear power or hydropower, you have to spend on fuel. So in hydropower, water is free, fuel cost is not there. But nuclear power, you have to buy uranium. And second, there will be labor, people involved. You have labor, you have technician, you have engineers, you have managers. So that all come under the operating cost. And lastly, there is shown as transmission and distribution cost. See, please understand, these power plants are not installed in cities. They will be installed far away from the city. So when you, so for example, you can see we have got in Kaiga, we have got a nuclear power plant, you have got Kadra Dam, you have got a hydel power plant. So they are not located near the load. Our load is in Karwar. Okay, our load is at Goa, say, Madgaon. So what happens? You have to have distribution lines, big lines you have to have, and you need to have transformers. So that cost is called as transmission and distribution cost. So having understood the problem, now we will see that 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 kilowatt into 1 hour. 1 megawatt is nothing but 1000 kilowatts. Okay, 1 kilowatt megawatt I can also write as 10 raised to 3 kilowatt. 1 megawatt hour is equal to 10 raised to 3 kilowatt hours, and 1 year is equal to 8760 hours. Now look at the handwritten text here. Load factor is equal to average load divided by the peak load. Okay, so the load factor is given as 0.7. Average load we have to calculate. Peak load is given as not given. So it is the, we will consider peak load as the installed capacity itself. So installed capacity is 500 megawatt. So the average load will become 500 into 0.7, that is 350 megawatt. So the 350 megawatt is the average load. So in 1 year, how much units of electricity is generated? That is nothing but 350 megawatt into 8760 hours. Okay, this becomes 306.6 into 10 raised to 7 megawatt. Okay, so please I will repeat, 350 megawatts of power into 1 year is 8760. That becomes 306.6 into 7 megawatt hour. Okay, first is this, how many units it is generated. Now let us look at the capital cost. So first we will discuss about hydroelectric power plant. Hydroelectric power plant capital cost is 4 crore rupees per megawatt. Okay, so 4 crores into 500 megawatt, you will get as 2000 crores. So we have written 2000 into 10 raised to 7. Okay, next we have to pay interest every year. You have to pay, this is a fixed cost, whether you run the plant, you produce electricity, nothing, you have to pay the interest. So interest is 5%. So 5% is 5 divided by 100, that is 0.05. Okay, into 2000 into 10 raised to 7 means into 2000 crore. So 2000 crore we will write it as 2000 into 10 raised to 7. So interest is equal to 0.05 into 2000 into 10 raised to 7, that is 100 into 10 raised to 7, that is 100 crore rupees. Now next is depreciation. Also you have to take out every year. Depreciation is 4%, that is 0.04 into 2000 crores, that is 2000 into 10 raised to 7, that is rupees 80 into 10 raised to 7, that is 80 crore rupees. So this depreciation amount 80 crore rupees you have to take out every year. Interest amount you have to take out 1000 crore rupees, 100 crore rupees every year. Okay, but the capital cost is once only. We have for establishing that plant what you have set up. Now the annual fixed cost, you will have two costs. One is fixed cost and the variable cost or the running cost. So fixed cost is equal to interest plus depreciation. Okay, the interest plus depreciation is 100 crores plus 80 crores, that is 180 crores. We write as 180 into 10 raised to 7. Okay, so what is the fixed cost per unit? So per unit means I will divide this 180 crore rupees divided by the units. Okay, 306.6 into 10 raised to 7. Okay, so this gives me this 0.59 rupees. Means for generating 1 unit of electricity, fixed cost is 0.59 rupees, 59 paisa. But now we are given the operating cost as 5 paisa per unit and transmission and distribution cost as 3 paisa per unit. So the running cost is, I will call it as variable cost or running cost per kilowatt. This is given per kilowatt. So 5 plus 3, that is 8 paisa per unit. So the total cost will be fixed cost. Overall cost will be fixed cost plus running cost. The fixed cost is 59 paisa. The running cost is 8 paisa. The total cost of generating 1 unit of hydroelectric power plant is 67 paisa. Okay. Now we shall look at the nuclear power plant. Again, for nuclear power plant, the amount of electricity generated is same, but the capital cost is 5 crore rupees per megawatt. So 5 into 500 megawatt, you will get as 2500 crores. That is 2500 into 10 raised to 7 rupees. Now interest again is 5% only. So 5.05 into 2500 into 10 raised to 7. The interest is, so the interest is 125 crores or 125 into 10 raised to 7 rupees. Now depreciation is again here 5%, that is 0.05 into 2500 crores. That gives again 125 crore rupees. That is 125 into 10 raised to 7 rupees. Okay. So the annual fixed cost is the cost towards interest as well as depreciation. So 125 plus 125 crores, there is 250 crores. We will write is a 250 into 10 raised to 7. Now the fixed cost per unit means for generating 1 unit of electricity, how much is the fixed cost? That is 250 crores, 250 into 10 raised to 7 divided by the number of units generated, that is 306.6 into 10 raised to 7 kilowatt hours. Okay. So this is the 10 raised to 7 is kilowatt hours. So we get is 0.82. This is a fixed cost. Means to generate 1 unit of electricity, the fixed cost in nuclear power plant is 0.82. Then you have got running cost also. What is the running cost? 15 paisa for operating cost, that is fuel, and then transmission distribution cost is 2 paisa. So 15 paisa plus 2 paisa is 17 paisa is a running cost. Then the total cost or overall cost per unit of power generation by nuclear power plant is 82 paisa plus 17 paisa, that is 99 paisa. Okay. So we have seen that for in nuclear power plant to generate 1 unit of electricity, the overall cost is 99 paisa, whereas in the hydroelectric power plant, the overall cost of per unit generation is only 67 paisa. Therefore, the overall cost per kilowatt hour is minimum in the case of hydroelectric power plant. So we will try to install a hydroelectric power plant and consume the power and not go for a nuclear power plant, because the cost here we are discussing in terms of economics. So it is the cost is cheaper, so we go for hydroelectric power plant. So in this problem, what we have seen, the maximum demand is 500 megawatt, the load factor was 70%, so the average load become 350 megawatt. Okay. Then we have seen that the fixed cost is interest cost plus the depreciation cost, and the running cost variable cost is operating cost as well as transmission and distribution cost. Okay. And these are the learnings. So we have come out with the, after the average load of 350 megawatts per hour per year, how much the power is generated, multiplying this 350 into 8760 hours, that becomes 306.6 into 10 raised to 7 kilowatt hours, means 306.6 crore units per annum. And we found that the total cost, overall cost is equal to fixed cost plus running cost. Okay. And the fixed overall cost was only 67 paisa for hydroelectric power plant, and overall cost is 99 paisa for nuclear power plant. Hence, as the cost of power generation is lower in hydroelectric plant, we will select that. Thank you.